Hello and welcome to Financial Technology Frontiers. Let me introduce you to one very interesting mentor and advisor at Financial Technology Frontiers who is going to guide the insurance sector in his role as an advisor here. I take pleasure in introducing you to Mr. Ravi Seshadri. Ravi is a distinguished insurance practitioner who has spent a lot of his time in the insurance industry with about 15 years in the learning and development in United Insurance as well as its internal auditor, after which he has moved to AXA as its chief compliance officer and anti-money laundering officer. He is now moved out of his active corporate role and he is taking up a lot of interesting assignments in mentorship with various organizations like the Christ University for its insurance program. He's a fellow of III India, which is the Insurance Institute of India. He is also associated with IFMR in his teaching roles, as well as with the Indian Institute of Management. Friends, join me in welcoming Mr. Ravi Seshadri to this edition of Introduction to the Advisor. Ravi, welcome to Financial Technology.
Thank you, Babu. It's really great to be over here with you.
Thank you, Ravi. So, Ravi, can you just explain us a little bit about your experiences in the field of insurance and the different organizations that you have been a part of?
I have an overall exposure to the insurance space for almost 35 years. Out of years, 20 years, I worked for a public sector organization, which is United India Insurance, wherein my experience was swirling around internal audit as well as learning and development. I also had the opportunity of working in Hong Kong as well as Singapore for United India. Subsequent to my stint at United, I moved to a private organization. When AXA commenced their business in India, as a part of the senior management team, so almost 14 years I served with AXA in the roles of Chief Compliance Officer, Anti-Money Laundering Officer, as well as fraud control. For some stint, I also had the corporate sales experience at AXA in India. So overall, it has been a fantastic experience in the insurance space, getting to know of the Indian markets very well. Also, to a greater extent, in understanding the philosophies of the international market, because AXA gave me that fantastic experience of how do you go about doing business across the globe.
Wonderful. So, Ravi, you have had experience of a public sector, you have had experience of the private sector, and you have had multidimensional roles. So, which are the key areas of expertise where you can actually add a lot of value to either the fintechs or the insurtechs who are wanting to get into the insurance space, or to the existing insurance companies? Which are the key areas and domains where you can focus upon?
As far as the fintech companies are concerned, all over the globe, anti-money laundering is one of the key areas, and also governance. Having had a rich experience of compliance in AXA, I could add a lot of value to the AML programs that are being designed by fintech companies, as well as all the compliance areas which every insurance company across the globe has to follow. Coming to the Indian space, I could add a lot of value. Having seen the Indian markets almost for the last 35 years, I can help them in strategizing their business models. I can also do a business process reengineering for companies in India. Need not necessarily only for insurance companies, I can do for the intermediaries as well. So this is something which I can really add value in the domestic as well as international markets.
Interesting. When it comes to the kind of engagements with the companies in consulting, which are the areas where you have been really advising the banks or the fintechs in the past few years?
I have been doing consulting on the domain area.
Interesting. And what kind of domain have you been looking at? Is it more of general insurance business domain or compliance domain?
I have been doing on 3 areas. One is general insurance domain. One is the preparing an anti-money laundering program. Third one is on the compliance, preparing of checklists, etc., in order to comply. Because most of these companies have both domestic compliance as well as global compliances.
Excellent. Now, when you see the current scenario of the industry, where there is a lot of technology coming in into the insurance space, what kind of role do you envisage as a industry practitioner to support the industry in your current knowledge, and how have you been upgrading yourself in this area?
The first thing, as far as coming to upgrading, we need to understand how the global market operates and how the Indian market is trying to embrace the global practices. That's the first thing. Because what happens in the international market, either in Lloyd's or the US market, comes to the Indian market 4 to 5 years later. So understanding what exactly is happening in the international market, and we need to tell, okay, this is what the latest practices is. Sometimes it could be the other way also. Some of the control systems, etc., where the Indian market is good, where we can tell these are the best practices we have been adopting in order to be successful in implementing. Number two is, when it comes to the question of insurance, the question of customer experience, which is going to play a key role. Because there are multiple number of insurers today, and today we are going to have more number of insurers because the market is expanding in a big way, especially in India, Brazil, as well as China. The next step is understanding the people who are giving you business, the intermediaries. Do an analysis of where exactly which intermediary is good, which intermediary is not good. Even in this, within the same country, which all areas of profit making, which are all not profit making.
Interesting. What kind of organizations are you looking forward to engage with in the near future, especially from the consulting or advisory perspective in India as well as globally?
As far as the Indian markets are concerned, I would like to engage myself with some of the companies which are started in the last 5 to 10 years, and they would like to move to the next level like the big players. Having worked with the biggest players, I can add value and tell this is one thing that you need to do to go to the next level. Number two is, I would also like to do something on customer experience for almost all the companies, because customer experience is a very important point for all insurance companies, because we are selling an intangible product. So it's a customer experience is going to make a lot of difference. Coming to the tech companies, I'd like to share my domain experience, why people have to do this analytics. This analysis coming straight from B schools or from engineering colleges, if they understand what exactly. So I'd like to provide domain experience to those teams who are developing the software or doing a BPO work. Coming to the international market, I like to help the international markets in the fintech companies with regard to the process that is involved, making process simpler. Plus also, I could also help them in anti-money laundering programs, devising a good sturdy anti-money laundering programs, or devising a good compliance program in the international market for the fintech companies.
Appreciated. Thank you very much, Ravi.
Thank you, Babu, for this opportunity. Thank you so much. We look forward to connect again.
Thank you.